the majority of the room seems to be timers and people that are focused on providing services for other event directors. But how many people in here actually own their own event? Almost half the room. Well, whether you own your own event or not, I mean, you all know it. Timing, you're compensated fundamentally on a variable basis, right? So if the events grow that you're timing, then that's a home run, right? So the only thing is that you don't typically, I don't know how many of you get to influence the marketing budgets of the events you time? Very few, yes. That's also not uncommon. So what we want to be able to provide, and we talked to Bob about this and Brian back a few months ago, was how do we help you all help your events grow? And I'm not going to get into that at a detailed, specific level today. However, our goal is to package what we do so any RunSignUp client, for example, can leverage it and without a commitment to spend any dollars, so they can get exposed to marketing. We can do some free marketing audits to allow them to see what they could be doing differently. And at a minimum, that should increase the value of your relationships with your clients if they're using RunSignUp. So there is hopefully some value from that, and certainly on our end, if we can help them spend more through other additional marketing services, then we can get excited to really help them grow. So the first step is creating the event, and this has everything to do with making sure you're setting up your event, not only setting it up properly in RunSignUp, but also setting it up early enough. So many people, our team included, I have a team of about 10 people, and I assign them to different tasks. One group is supposed to focus on our women's only events and make sure that all the registrations are set up. But by the end of the year, our last event's I think in October for that series, we want to open registration the next day. And invariably, that would be a couple months later because we'd be making decisions on what promotions to include and things like that. And it really limits our ability to market because you lose those months. You can't market in any of those months if you don't have your registration set up. Obviously, everybody knows that, right? But it's really important on the create phase to make sure that you're thinking far enough ahead, that you're setting it up with your marketing plan in mind. And the first thing that comes to mind are your fee increases, but also the timing of opening registration is really critical. The big thing that we talk about, and I'll talk about this on the future slides, is milestones, setting them up. Huge believer in milestones. If you don't have something to promote, you have no ability to promote it. And equally, if you have something to promote and you don't promote it, then that's equally a waste of your energy. And then along those lines, defining branded product giveaways and the schedule for those are also promotable activities and milestones that we'll talk about. So compelling milestones. Fee increases, again, is the thing that most people focus on and utilize pretty well. But certainly announcements can be milestones. If you finish your event, say in October, and then you set a milestone in November to announce the charitable impact, and you do press releases, and you let people know your great connection with these charity partners or this charity partner, or you bring new charity partners on, having a date when you do that and getting people excited about that news coming out is a milestone. You can add that to your marketing plan. Course updates, whether it's a new map or more aid stations and things like that, don't just throw it out there. Plan when you're going to communicate that and make sure that sits in between some of your other milestones that you're going to be promoting, so you're not just talking about fee increases all the time. Obviously, medal reveals, we actually didn't do that until like 2 years ago, and all right, so I mentioned that I did my first marathon when I was like 30. I'm not in danger of being on the podium. So I didn't spend a lot of time worrying about medals or even awards. Like when award conversations come up from our team, I leave the room now because I'm not interested in awards because we kind of follow the Disney model for our events. It's an everyman event. But my whole team are all, if they're not winning the events, they're first or second in their age group. So they all get all excited about it. And they convinced me that medals are important to people. And I'm like, all right, so we'll get a bigger medal. And when we did and we announced it, our registration surged that week because people just started talking about it. And this isn't rocket science, but it is something that we were pretty smart, and we were a marketing company, and we weren't even doing. And we talked to more and more of our clients, and only like 1 or 2 of them were doing that, like the bigger events that have marathons or half marathons. But certainly this has become a really critical element that we try to time into our marketing campaigns, and the clients of ours that use it have a lot of success. I mentioned fee increases, gear giveaways. Again, you can get great gear at $5 per piece, whether it's hats or socks or pint glasses for less than $2 or whatever it may be, stuff that you could sell in your store, but you could also use those as incentives for registration. And we do that pretty liberally. We usually have 2 to 3 gear giveaways per campaign for an event. When you have several hundred people per campaign, we'll usually register as a result, and that gives you something to talk about again. And it's great branding when that stuff's out there as well. Discounts are, pretty common one would be your early bird promo code or coupon code that you'd use before you actually open registration for the masses. But it's also discounts that you give to partners. So if you want, corporate partners to market to their employees and you want to give them special coupons. Those are really important milestones to set and to establish and manage and promote. And again, RunSignUp has great tools for that, very flexible. Moving from our platform to RunSignUp, we had to get used to how we calculate because there's so many ways that RunSignUp allows you to do that, which is really helpful. And of course, things like your t-shirt deadlines and your personalized bib deadlines, all that stuff needs to be part of your marketing plan. And if you're managing events for someone who's, let's say you're timing an event, all this stuff mostly falls under their bucket, right? Because I mean, you're not managing most of those things, I can't imagine, right? But what I'd like to be able to do is get more event directors to start thinking of their events this way, so when they do set them up for online registration or they open them, they have an idea of how they're going to market those things throughout the year to drive registrations.